I would like to start with the time-honored tradition and greet all of our honored... Okay, no honored guests here today, so I'll just begin. Winston Churchill, in his usual understated brilliance, noted, "There are two things more difficult than making an after-dinner speech. Climbing a wall which is leaning towards you, and kissing a girl who's leaning away from you." I could have done something, normal, like speaking about orphans in Africa or something, but no. I decided to compound my difficulty by doing an after-dinner speech on after-dinner speeches. To be precise, about their decline in society, what that means, and why it needs fixing. I have two theories as to why this art form has dwindled. The first makes sense, and makes fun of the speaker. Seeing as I happen to like the speaker, I will consequently not be addressing it. The second is more esoteric, and therefore modern. So, second theory. The decline in the number of after-dinner speeches is actually a symptom of a greater problem. That greater problem being the deformalization which is causing general politeness, moral structure, manners and etiquette, and the cravat as a legitimate form of neck frillery to disappear. I will of course advocate that none of these things are good things, but that may be because I like cravats. Why? Well, they're elegant and basically napkins. But when society is informal, people are tactless. When society is informal, being an ass is applauded as frankness. When society is informal, we have to make hate speech illegal. When society is informal, Downton Abbey becomes a hit soap opera. When society is informal, I can make tasteless jokes about perfectly good TV programming, and get away with it. But how did it get this way? Oh, it's simple-ish. It's that word equality, or rather, attitudes towards it. You know, that word that makes us treat women like humans? Yeah, that word. You see, we had a formal society once, which was based on equality, well, kind of. But the perception about what it means and the attitudes towards being equal became twisted. To be equal became something we should have already had, not something we should strive for. Because, in essence, there are two ways in which to make everyone equal in a formal society. You can set the bar, the standard for behavior, and so impossibly high that no one can reach it alone. Or you can make the standard so low that everyone has already achieved it. The first is a chin-up bar. It makes society stronger. The second is that one step that's higher than the others that you always bang your chin on when you're coming in the evening, and makes you swear at it. Yeah, that's the second one. And while chin-ups are hard, the height is not as inhumane as it may feel. It gives people something to reach for, something to build towards, like, being able to do one. To break away from that metaphor, the higher ideals, that bar, is why the founding documents of our country are couched in the lofty ideals and don't immediately start with the dreary details of who gets to be in charge of what for how long. It is this high standard of formality in society which allows the equality without it transforming into a caste system. This second attitude of equality is a baser thing, something which shouldn't be celebrated, shouldn't be touted as a virtue. This is because, in essence, why should we celebrate something that is easily achieved? There's no cause to celebrate if you do something easy. There's no cause to celebrate if you got out of bed this morning. Something I hope you do every day, because, bed sores hurt. But that brings us back to the Churchill quote. The difficulty of things is often the measure by which we decide what is worthy of celebrating, which becomes what becomes worthy of acknowledging. We celebrate men and women who do difficult things. The difficulty of an after-dinner speech, therefore, should be no reason for its decline. The difficulty of maintaining formal social mores should be no reason for their decline. The difficulty of pull-ups is gravity and is the reason your body is in decline. The problem seems to be, rather, that we expect only already celebrated men to make such speeches. It's like expecting only those who work out 2 hours a day to do pull-ups. When we only allow the great to hold themselves to the higher standard, only a smaller and smaller percentage can become great. When we only allow the strong to lift, we still have an obesity problem. In our laziness in claiming equality through universal accomplishment, We have torn down formality, and therefore the structure in the attitudes of equality. In this vacuum, the ugliness of oligarchy has reared its head. For where there is no higher standard, it is the will of capricious men to make arbitrary ones. You know these people. You've known them since kindergarten. They're the ones that made that secret club which the only point was to exclude you. Yeah, those bastards. So, in effect, this deformalization of society, this lowering of the standards and lowering of the attitudes towards what is equality, has caused the present societal oligarchy. Well, yeah, but there are some small factors like, economics, the internet, the rise and fall of popular communism, and Twinkies, which are much the same thing. But how do we fix it? Well, in essence, reach for the bar. It'll be a slow progress because it's changing a societal attitude. It'll be a slow progress, like mine towards being able to complete an actual pull-up. But the solution is at its core is just an attitude change. And like any societal attitude change, it begins with individuals. And part of that attitude change in the individual is believing that every individual is worthy of the social mores. Every individual is worthy of tact. And part of treating every individual like they're worthy of tact is inviting them to such things as like formal dinners where one might have to give an after-dinner speech. And part of that is, applauding those poor souls who decided to give me the floor for this speech. So, do your part. I'd say reach for the bar, but I'm pretty sure I have worn out that metaphor. Anyway, thank you for listening. Peace.